Alright lads, now that I've got my 4 Eldrazi temples for my Death and Taxes modern decks, let's put them where they go. So this is my modern box. This is where I keep the 7 obsolete modern decks that I maintain. This is Absent Evolution, Bant, Nightfall, Burn, Death and Taxes, Merfolk, Soul Sisters, Squirrels. Squirrels is a deck I came up with myself. It's fucking hilarious on Arena, I'll tell you that. It's great. But it's not going to win any modern tournaments in the current meta. In fact, wait for the fucking airplane to fly over. The only deck that might have a chance would be, well, maybe Burn would, but Merfolk. So what is this Death and Taxes? Okay, this is the old version. I'm still running Blade Splicer. I forget when it came out, but the deck started, it took out Blade Splicer and started running Thought something. Eldrazi Thought something. I forget what the fuck it is. It's a, what is it? Thought Not Seer. That's what it is. Thought Not Seer. Started running Thought Not Seer and or Void Wanderer. Some shit it started doing. So anyway, what the deck wants to do is play things like Blade Splicer and then blink it. So Blade Splicer is 2 and a white for a 1/1 human artificier. When she comes into play, I get a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. As long as she's in play, and there's 4 of them in the deck, my golems have first strike. Then it also runs 4 of these. Lean an Arbiter, 1 and a white. Players can't search libraries. Any player may pay 2 for that player to ignore this effect until end of turn. So, if you play this, and somebody is relying on fetch lands, they can break it, but unless they have the 2 mana, they can't find shit. They can't search the library. Thalia, Guardian Thraben, 1 and a white for a 2/1 first striking human soldier. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Even mine. And there we have it. So, Path to Exile. So, if I have Lean an Arbiter down, and I Path to Exile a creature, if they can't pay the 2, it's just exile. They don't get the basic land. They don't get the compensation. Wall of Omens, this is a recent addition to the deck. One of the latest changes I made. So Wall of Omens is 1 and a white for 0/4 wall. When it comes to play, draw a card. So if you blink it, you can draw more cards. And there he is, Eldrazi Displacer. That's why the temples are going in. So Eldrazi Temple. Land, add 1 to your mana pool. Or you can add 2, but you can only use it to cast colorless Eldrazi spells or activate abilities of colorless Eldrazi. Well, he's got devoid. He's got no color. And I tell you, it's a lot better to have 2 lands than 3 to get him down, and a lot better to have 1 land, well, 2 lands, than 3 to activate him. So 2 in colorless, exile another target creature, and then bring it to the battlefield back under its owner's control, tapped. So, that's what he wants to do. He wants to blink the Blade Splicer, so I get more golems, or blink the Wall of Omens, so I get more creatures, or blink one of my opponent's creatures that's attacking me, so it's no longer attacking me, and I don't have to worry about it. Deck also has 4 Giver of Runes, 1 for a 1/2 core cleric. Tap another target creature you control gains protection from colorless or from the color of your choice until end of turn. So this is a play in Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes, I believe she can give herself the protection. Giver of Runes cannot. I'll link it later. So I was using Temple of the False Gods as proxies. So this is a proxy for Eldrazi Temple because it is not the card. It is a stand-in for the card And the reason I chose the Temple of the False God is because it looks kind of similar. It's not a stretch to imagine it being Eldrazi Temple. But anyway, 4 of those will come out. So there's another Path to Exile, Mutavault. Add colorless to mana pool. The deck obviously needs colorless to activate the Displacer. 1 Mutavault becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types still in the turn, still a land. So if I've got the Blade Splicer and I wake up the Mutavault, it's a 2/2 Golem with first strike. Another Wall of Omens, Ghost Quarter. It works very well with the Arbiter. So again, as with Path to Exile, if I have Lean and Arbiter out and I have Ghost Quarter, if they cannot pay the 2, if my opponent cannot pay the 2 mana to search their library, this is effectively a strip mine in Modern. Another Blade Splicer, another Arbiter, another Giver of Runes, another Mutavault, Olaka Plains, Temple of the False God. Take this out and replace it with the Temple so the deck is accurate. The deck is what I really would have liked to get foil. I bet these are beautiful in foil. I would have loved to get them, but they're, what, 40 euros each? They weren't cheap. Not at all. So that's why I went with flat. It was more important for me to finish the deck sooner than later. So I got the flat. Maybe someday I'll get the foils. Probably not. Aether Vial. 1 colorless to cast this artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Aether Vial. If you play this, remember, you cannot take it back down. You can only take it up. I was reading a story about this guy. He was in a tournament, and he forgot. He forgot. He just automatically ticked it up to 4. And nothing in his deck cost 4. And he realized his mistake, and he just went with it. So every turn thereafter, he would tick it up, and his opponent was just like, oh, what the fuck is he going to get down? What sort of mad creature is he building up to? Jesus Christ. And as soon as he had the removal to remove it, he blew it up. Which didn't bother the guy playing it at all, because he didn't have anything in the deck he could cast with it anyway. Okay, well actually, so these came pre-sleeved. Those look like decent quality sleeves. I'll just leave them in there. In my decks I use KMC Perfect Fits. I like the quality. They're good sleeves for the inner sleeve. Sometimes I don't take off the sleeves that people send me cards in because they're fairly good. If they're side loading, yeah, I take those out. But these I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, Flickerwisp. 1 white, flying. When it comes into play, exile another permanent from the game. Return it to play under its owner's control at the end of the turn. 3/1 flyer. So really, you want to get this down. You want an Aether Vial ticked up to 3. So at instant speed, I forgot to mention that about the Aether Vial, the reason you're ticking it up. So you may put a creature card, tap it, you may put a creature card with mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Aether Vial from your hand into play. So you want to take this up to 3. Because a lot of the cards in the deck, Blade Split, she costs 3. Flickerwisp costs 3. So if you can drop a Flickerwisp into play at instant speed, if somebody is attacking you, you can exile. They'll get it back at the end of the turn, but it's no longer attacking you. Or you can Flickerwisp with Blade Splicer and get another Golem at the end of the turn. There's the second Aether Vial, another Flickerwisp, another Path to Exile. Another Eldrazi Displacer. Restoration Angel. Before this set came out, whatever set this is, I forget. Some Zendikar set. Oath of the Gatewatch. OOW. What the fuck was OOW? I can't remember. OGW. I can't remember. Original Gangsters of World Wake. Okay, so Original Gangsters of World Wake, when that set came out, before then, people were using Restoration Angel more. I kept 2 Restoration Angels in the deck because she still fits. So 4 mana, she's got Flyer. When she comes into play, I can exile a non-angel creature I control, and then it instantly returns back to play. So it just flickers. Other than that, she's a 3/4 flyer. Beat her. Killed people with those before. Another Ghost Quarter, Giver of Runes, another Blade Splicer, another Thalia, another Displacer, another Thalia. Iganjo Castle. This is here to kind of help Thalia. And it's pretty. It's neat. Wayne England. I like his art. So you can tap for 1 white or 1 white. Prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to target legendary creature this turn. Thalia is the only legendary creature in the deck, so it only works on her. Another Arbiter, another Restoration Angel, Chef at Dunes. Sometimes I wonder why the hell I have this card in here. So I can tap it for colorless, or if I want to pay some life, I can tap it for white. Or 3 white, sacrifice a desert, and these are the only deserts in the deck. Creatures I control get +1/+1 until end of turn, but only as a sorcery. So it's kind of a finisher. If somebody is at, say, 5 life, and I've got a Restoration Angel and an Arbiter. No, that's not a good example. I've got a Blade Splicer, no golems, and an angel, and I can hit them for 4. So I can sacrifice the Chef at Dunes, give all the creatures +1/+1, and hit them for 6. I don't even know why I had that in there anymore. It was somebody, all these decks except Squirrels. Yeah, all the modern decks I have except Squirrels are based on a deck that was winning tournaments at some time. This is based on a deck that last saw serious play in, I want to say, 2018. So 6 years ago, this deck was viable. Not anymore, but my closed ecosystem of modern decks, all the decks are roughly balanced against each other. There's no always best deck. There's no deck that's just going to absolutely kill and dominate the others. There's some bad matchups. It's not all 1-to-1, but the reason I have them is because I like playing Modern sometimes. I like playing 1v1 games sometimes. So I need to have the decks for it. And plus I just like building decks. I like having more decks. And it even got to where in Astruzna, the lads out there, the 3 of them, all of them built at least one modern deck. So Steve-O built Slivers and Burn. Frenchie built Affinity. And Big Jimmy, I forget what Big Jimmy built, some bullshit. So there's that. Another Ghost Quarter, Aether Vial, Mutavault, Fiend Hunter. Now Fiend Hunter is pretty cool. Fiend Hunter, 1 white for a 1/3 human cleric. When he comes into play, you may exile another target creature. That's separate from when he leaves play, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, these cards now, what they're doing now, is they're shoving these together and it's one ability. Because these are 2 separate abilities. When he comes into play, this ability goes on the stack. So if I exile him, Flickerwisp, Displacer, whatever, the trigger goes off to exile another target creature, and because he left play, before that trigger resolved, the second trigger never even activates to return the exile card to the battlefield under his owner's control. So he's repetitive permanent exile in this deck. Lean and Relic Order, same thing. White for a 2/2 Kitty Cleric. When he comes into play, I may exile target artifact or enchantment. So again, if I flicker him before that ability resolves, he goes away, comes back as a new object, that ability goes off, and permanently exiles an artifact or enchantment. Death and Taxes. Yeah, I've got 2 of these. Phyrexian Revoker. What would I use this to do, really? So Bant Nightfall, if I name the Knight of the Reliquary, she cannot tap to filter through the lands, cycle through the lands, and get really big and hit me. Against burn, it does. Well, if I name Arid Mesa or something, maybe I can slow down their mana production. Or if I say Grim Lavamancer, but burn really doesn't give a shit about this. Against squirrels, I can name Chatterfang. So Chatterfang can't activate his abilities. He can't get rid of this guy. What else could I name? The Soul Sisters. If I get it early enough, I can name Martyr of Sands. So they can't gain 9 life in one turn by sacrificing Martyr of Sands and showing off white cards in their hand. With Merfolk, not a whole lot. Maybe Smuggler's Copter, so it cannot be crewed, therefore it cannot attack to draw cards. If I name Aether Vial to screw over Merfolk, I'm screwing myself too, so there is that consideration. Against Absent Evolution, what would I name? I don't know. Oh yeah, I've got 2 Phyrexian Revokers. They're stacked up real nice. Oh, that's because this is the sideboard. This is the sideboard. So the sideboard is 2 Phyrexian Revokers, and I think I've explained those quite well. It is 3 Auric Champions. White for 1/1 Human Cleric, protection for black and red. Whenever another creature comes into play, you may gain 1 life. Just do it, just gain the life, just get it over with. Suck it up. So she would come in against burn. Excuse me. Against one of the decks playing a bunch of fetch lands, even Mind Sensor. 2 and a white for a flashy bird wizard. 2/1 flyer. If an opponent would search a library, instead they only search the top 4. So if I flash this into play after somebody's cracked a fetch land, I hope your land is in the top 4. And then these are experiments. These are experiments for the deck. Revelark, which I should actually replace with, what is it called? Do I have it right here in the stack next to me? I think I do. I don't. But I have it in the soap box next to me, I'm sure. No, that other box is in the other room. Never mind. So I got these cards recently. I believe it's 1 and a white. Surprise Witness. Surprise something. It's a sorcery. You can return a creature with CMC, I believe it's 2 or less, from your graveyard to play, and it gets a flying counter. Actually, if it's 2 or less, it's not going to do that much. So it can get an Arbiter, it can get a Thalia. What? No, a 2/1 flying first striker, that might be kind of good. It can get back Giver of Runes. It can get back. It can get back a few things. It can get back a Wall of Omens. I don't know. Maybe I should run those. Okay, anyway. So, the sideboard for this deck, as with most of my modern ecosystem decks, it's not really tuned. The meta is these decks, so I tend to put things in that I want to see if they work. I want to see if they're effective in the deck. 4 and a white for a 4/3 flyer. If you played Standard 10 years ago, you would know this card. But 10 years ago, Jesus Christ. When Revelark leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 target cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it can get back a Blade Splicer. It can get back Thalia. It can pretty much get back anything in the deck, really. You could evoke it for 6, pay 6 mana, comes to play, get sacrificed, so you can do the return immediately. Vesperlark. The only thing this can get back is the Giver of Runes. So, why do I even have this in here? What am I doing? What am I thinking? This is another reason to go through the deck, so when I make stupid decisions, I can revisit them before I actually play. We're supposed to play in Austrasian at the end of the month. And this week, a couple of the lads are out, so it might be just the Genie and I, and we don't want to play our EDH decks 1v1 against each other. That gets kind of boring. So he's got some modern decks, I'll bring my modern decks. Alright, so I need to figure out what to replace these with, because he can only get back the Giver of Runes, so who cares. Brave the Elements, choose a color. White dudes you control gain protection from the chosen color until end of turn. I bet Trump would like this card. All for 1 white. Yeah, that is main deck. Fragmentize. So I've got 3 of these. I actually have a full playset in foil. One of them is in a vintage deck. 1 white for a sorcery. Destroy an artifact or enchantment with the CMC 4 or less. It's pretty elegant. Pretty sweet. It's great against Ink Moth Nexus, the fucker that has Infect. The Genie plays a Hardened Scales deck with that son of a bitch. Of course, it's a sorcery, so I'm not going to be able to kill it. But I can kill the Ozolith, the Arcbound Ravager, I could kill that, the Hardened Scales, so yeah, there's plenty of valid targets. And a 4th Path to Exile, that's the sideboard. So these 2 I need to think about. I need to put something else in there. I'm not sure what. I'll think of something. Anyway, so the deck now has 4 Eldrazi Displacers. Let's do a quick shuffle, and I'll show you a sample hand. Look, it's a sample hand. Alright, so let's see what an opening hand would look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards. What land do I have? I've got Sheffet Dunes and a Plains. So I would keep that because I can turn 1 Plains, Giver of Runes. Next turn. Hey, Flickerwisp. So I can Sheffet Dunes. I could go and get the Arbiter down. And then if they attack, I can block with the Arbiter and give it protection with the Giver of Runes. What the hell's there? There it is. Oh, Eldrazi Temple. So play the Eldrazi Temple. Tap that for colorless. Get the Displacer down. So now the deck is starting to rock and roll a little bit. Untap, draw, Ghost Quarter. Okay. Okay, so now what I can do, so if they're tapped out, I can strip mine them. If they're tapped out and they cannot pay this too, I can Ghost Quarter one of their lands and it's strip mined, it's gone. Sucks to be you. And then I can spend this 3 to play a Blade Splicer. And I get a 3/3 Golem. And as long as she's in play, it has first strike. Fucking glare. So untap, draw, path to exile. Okay. So now what I can start doing is start attacking with the golems. And then at the end of the turn, 2, and then colorless, I can use the displacer to flicker her. She comes back, I get another golem. And it's still its first strike. And it's still the path to exile. So if they can't pay the 2, I can exile a creature permanently. My god, this deck before, it was kind of annoying. It's kind of my weakest deck. It was pissing, well, no, Bant 4 Swords was my weakest deck, and it got broken up. But it was kind of pissing me off because it suffered against my other decks. It wasn't getting there. And, put some more light on there. Fuck it. But okay, this is making the deck. I'm happy now. Oh, there's the Aether Vial finally. So, Chef at Dunes, get the vial down. Attack with the 2 golems. If they have any bullshit, I can path to exile. So attack with the 2 golems, keep this mana up. I've got the Giver of Runes to give the Blade Splicer protection if they try to remove her. I've got the Eldrazi Displacer. The cycle, the actual chain would be, if they go to, let's say I'm playing Burn and they want to Lightning Bolt her. They're like, I don't want your golems having first strike, fuck that. So they would bolt her, spend 3, displace her, and then if they do something in response, like they try to bolt the displacer, then I can use Giver of Runes. So I've got overlapping protection now. Right. So if nothing else happens though, at the end of the opponent's turn, I would use the Temple in the Plains to flicker the Blade Splicer to get a 3rd golem. So now, beginning of my turn. This is important with Aether Vial. If you've never played with Vial before, once you draw a card, it's too late. And I've made this mistake so many goddamn times. Once you draw a card, you've passed your upkeep, you cannot take the Vial up. A lot of people, what they do is they put a die on top of their deck, so they know they've got an upkeep trigger. Before they draw, they're like, why do I have this die here? What? And they look, oh yeah, the Aether Vial. So Aether Vial has 1 charge counter on it now. I'm taking it up. And then I'm drawing a card, and then I'm playing a Mutavault. And then I'm attacking with golems. Okay, so if there's, and I've got the Restoration Angel as a reaction now because she has Flash and I have 4 mana. I've got the Path to Exile, so I've got a lot of interaction. My next turn, so take this up to 2. So now it's got 2 counters. Look, another Mutavault. So what I can do is I can wake up, tap that for 1, wake up this Mutavault, attack with a 2/2 first striking golem, and however number of 3/3 first striking golems I still have, because a few of them would have died by now in combat, even if they have first strike. That's just the way it works. My next turn, take this up to 3. It's now on 3. Wall of Omens. So, because that's on 3, I can't use the Wall of Omens. I can't get out the wall. So, put the Wall of Omens in play. Draw a card. Plains. Not played a land yet this turn, so play a Plains. This is now on 3, so I can tap it and instantly drop the Flickerwisp. So I still have good protection. So this is my, of course, some of this would have got destroyed, bounced back to my hand. Some shit would have happened. That's just the way this game works. There is a piece of dust in there. So that would be, that's my board, my creatures. I have these lands in play, and one plane. Fucking camera shut off. My battery, for some reason, will allow me to record for I think it gets too hot. It records for 30 minutes and then it shuts off. Done. Fuck off. Like I was saying, so I would have tapped the plains, maybe the dunes, for the Wall of Omens, so I still have this available, meaning I have Displacer mana, or I have Restoration Angel mana. And in my hand, so if I need to drop the Restoration Angel into play to save something and get a 3/4 flying beater, I can. And then I still have the Flickerwisp. Remember, this is on 3 now. I didn't bring a die, I'm sorry. So this is in my hand. So next turn, if I still have all these creatures and all this mana, I would displace the Blade Splicer, get yet another fucking golem. And now is the decision. Do I keep the Aether Vial on 3 or tick it up to 4? With this much land, this much mana, I would leave it on 3 because most of the creatures that I would want to flash into play cost 3. Like that guy. Oh, what beautiful timing. So, if my opponent has some bullshit, tap that for to put a creature in play. It's got 3 counters on it. He comes down. I use my beautiful new Eldrazi Temple to flicker him with the trigger on the stack. So he gets flickered with the trigger on the stack. He'll come back into play, and he can exile something else. But whatever I exiled first, it just goes away. Because this trigger never happens, like I said. So anyway, that is Death and Taxes. An old, outdated version, but it's still fun to play. Let me tell you, but those temples, they really make the deck. Because it used to be, I would need to have 3 mana, 3 lands. I would need to have 3 lands to activate the the Displacer. 3 lands to cast him, unless I had an Aether Vial on 3. And it's competing with the Ghost Quarters, the Mutavaults. I've got a lot of land. I have a lot of lands that do something. So the Mutavaults, I don't necessarily want to tap for mana. I want to use them as creatures. The Ghost Quarters, if I have an Arbiter out, I want to use them as strip mines. But if I need them for mana, then it might be forcing me into a defensive style of play I don't really want to do. I would rather have the ability to be more aggressive with the Ghost Quarters. That's what this deck needs. It needs to aggressively strip away people's lands and path their creatures without them getting any sort of compensation. Just, yeah, sucks to be you. Right, so what was that guy's name? He's a new guy, Aaron O'Neill. So Aaron O'Neill, Echo 7 Hotel. He doesn't like Commander. He doesn't like how Commander has killed any other form of casual magic. Well, Aaron, I understand that. I really do. But I'm here to tell you that if you can't find the casual magic you want, maybe you have to make it yourself. And like I responded to you in the comments, if you build, go on MTG Top 8, look for 4 to 5-year-old modern decks that you like, that look like fun, that don't have any cards that are in the current meta, that have fallen out of favor and the prices have dropped like a rock, and then build some of them. And then when you go to the LGS, if everybody's playing Commander, somebody's going to be knocked out and waiting for a next game. Somebody's going to be there hanging around, And if you offer them a game of Modern and you've got the decks and you say that they're evenly balanced, and maybe you need to let them win, don't make it obvious, but maybe you need to not play real tight so they understand that they are balanced. One of the problems with my decks is because I know them so well, I've had them for years, I know when they're going to lose. I know what I need to take out to win. For example, if there's an Aether Vial, I know if I can destroy it, I should with Death and Taxes because it puts them back a bit. I know what cards that Bant Nightfall plays that I should counter or destroy in order to slow them down. But somebody just, if I let Yuji play this deck, for example, he's going to play it really aggressively, but he didn't build the deck. He'll understand it, but because he hasn't played with it and looked at it as long as I have, he's going to miss some lines of play sometimes. He's not going to fully appreciate how much he needs certain cards, and I know, and I'll destroy them. So if you give some people the experience of some fun Modern games, they're going to look forward to you coming back to the LGS with your Modern deck, and then you don't have to play Commander. Fuck it. Don't do it. Fuck that shit. Play Modern. Or Standard. I mean, if you pick Standard decks from 10 years ago, you know, back when Baneslayer Angel was 20 euros, and now she's 2. Fuck, the Standard decks had to be real cheap. Because you've got no fetch lands, no shock land. Well, it depends on what era of Standard. But if you pick an era of Standard without fetch lands, without shock lands, and you build some decks you enjoy, people will like playing them. Playing a tuned, cohesive deck with a strategy to it, not just a pile of cards, that's enjoyable. So, give it a try. Stay there. Give it a try. Alright, so, a little addendum. The card I was thinking of, the card I was talking about, is Call a Surprise Witness. So, 1 and a white sorcery. Return target creature card with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a flying counter on it. It's a spirit in addition to its other types. So, I think that's what I want to do. Let's take these out, because this is just too mana intensive. I mean, it was in Standard and it was fine, but I don't think it. And this guy, this Vespral Arc, I don't know why the hell I put this in the sideboard. I don't know. I just needed a card. I needed something in the sideboard, so I picked it. And the only thing you can bring back is a Giver of Runes. But these, they can bring back almost every creature. The only creature in the deck they cannot bring back is a Restoration Angel. So we'll put those in the sideboard of Death and Taxes, and we'll see how they work. Again, I'm not sure when I would side them in. Against what? It will allow me to be more aggressive, though. Because if I have this in my hand and the creature dies, I know that I can get it back next turn unless it gets countered. In any case, it pulls a counter spell out of their hands, so I've got that going for me. Alright, so that is the new Death and Taxes sideboard. Yeah. The reason I found these is I was looking up Goblin Surprise, and I forgot exactly what it was. I knew it was Surprise something, so I just typed in Surprise, and I was looking at the LGS website, and they had those, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Call a Surprise. What does that do? 1 and a white sorcery. Fuck a sorcery. Return target creature card. What are you doing? Get down. Get down. Stupid cat. Anyway. So that's it. That's the sideboard.